If you are about to summon for Jing Yuan or you already have him, you're probably wondering what are his best things in regards to his kit, his light cones, his relics, and his team. So today we're going to be talking about all of that in this guide. But before we get into all that, make sure to leave a sub and a like on the video if you're enjoying the Honkai Star Rail content. I also cover Genshin and Honkai Impact content as well. So if you like any of those games, make sure to leave a sub for that. But let's go ahead and start talking about his kit, because of course this is going to be the first thing that we want to know about, because he does have a mechanic that plays into a lot of his moves. And this mechanic, although not advanced or not super crazy to understand, you do want to pay attention to how it works, because this will be a big source of your damage. So for the basic attack, as always, this is going to be a one hit for the lightning damage. It's not anything special as of right now, no effect to it for as what we know right now. And for the skill is going to be hit all enemies with lightning damage, and then you're going to be increasing the lightning lord's hit per action by 2, and it's going to play a big part into when we talk about the lightning lord itself. But just know the skill is going to hit all the enemies, and it's also going to be increasing the action hits by 2 for the lightning lord. Now for the ultimate, you're going to be doing the same thing, hit all enemies and also increase the lightning lord action by 3. So yes, you are going to get 3 different hits with the lightning lord and also with the skill with 2. So this is something that you want to make note of, because we are going to be talking about what the lightning lord does in just a second. So you do want to make sure to remember that the skill gives you 2 of them and the ultimate gives you 3, ultimately give you 5 if you do both of them before the lightning lord hits. Now let's go ahead and start talking about the lightning lord itself. Now you're going to be summoning the lightning lord at the start of the battle. The lightning lord itself has 60 base speed and 3 base hits per action. So no matter what, if you for some reason are just doing basic attacks with Jing Yuan, you're still going to get those hits with the lightning lord when his time comes around. And of course, as I said before, you use your ultimate, use your skill, you're going to be adding on those hits to the lightning lord. So you do want to make sure you're trying to get the skill off, the ultimate off, before the lightning lord comes back around and does his damage. Now the lightning lord's damage does get considered as a follow-up attack, so a lot of the light cones for erudition, a lot of the things in simulated universe in regards to the elation buffs, you are going to want to use those, because those do follow with Jing Yuan's follow-up mechanic, which is the lightning lord, which does an insane amount of damage. Now the lightning lord is going to attack one character and is going to hit the other adjacent characters next to it, so it's not going to do a full wide mob sweep of the field unless there's 3 or less. It's going to do just hit 3, and the other 2 are going to be hit for a reduced rate of damage, because of course when it is adjacent damage, it's not going to do as much as the original source for that one target. Now the lightning lord's hits per action can reach to a max of 10. Every time you get a stack, you're going to be increasing the hit per 1 and also its speed. So the more attacks that you give it, the faster it comes around and the more you do your DPS. And once you actually get your lightning lord to attack, then it's going to end up resetting everything, so the speed goes back to its original value and the hits per action are also going to go back to their original value as well. And if Jing Yuan gets taken out, well, the lightning lord disappears. So you do want to make sure, like I said before, you get the initial 3 from him spawning in regardless, and then you are going to be using the skill, so that's going to make it 5. And if you end up doing ults, you're going to be getting 8 hits. So where are the other 2 coming from? Well, it depends on 2 different factors. Now you can use a technique which is going to instantly give you a 3 actions per hit for the next battle. So whenever you get into the next battle, pop it and you're going to end up with 10 if you use the skill and the ultimate before the lightning lord hits. Or if you have some speed on Jing Yuan, you could probably outrun the lightning lord and do another skill to get that last 10 stacks, so that you're able to hit the max amount of damage that you possibly need to be able to let the lightning lord hit its maximum amount of damage. So there are a couple factors in which you want to try and outspeed the lightning lord so that you're able to get max stacks, but for the most part, 8 to 10, you know, that 8 spot that you're going to be getting guaranteed by using the skill and the ultimate and the base that you get from the lightning lord itself, I think is just enough to be able to do as much damage as you possibly need. Now let's go ahead and start talking about Jing Yuan's light cones, because of course he is an erudition character, and by far his signature light cone is going to be the very best for him because of how many crazy stats it gives on him. So for the first passive is going to give increased wearer's crit damage by 36%, and then the next one is going to be increased wearer's skill and ultimate damage by 18%, and then after the wearer uses their skill or ultimate, which is, you know, basically what you're going to be using all the time in order to give the lightning lord action hits, you're going to be gaining a buff. And when you do get that buff, when you use a follow-up attack, you're going to be consuming that buff and your follow-up attack damage is going to be increased by 48%. So overall, of course, since this is his signature light cone, this is going to synergize very well with Jing Yuan, you know, helping your skill and ultimate damage, giving you that buff for using them, which of course you want to use for the actual lightning lord hits. And then once you do use your skill or ultimate, you get that buff, you waste the buff, and then you're going to be getting more follow-up attack damage. So overall, amazing stats for Jing Yuan if you're going to be getting his light cone, because it is very strong. Now the other 5-star option, which is Knight on the Milky Way, which is Himiko's light cone, it's not really the best thing in the world to run on Jing Yuan. It is going to be increasing your wearer's attack for every enemy on the field, so you are going to be getting lower attack or lower buffs when you end up fighting less enemies or you're going against a boss. So this is really play with Jing Yuan's playstyle. Jing Yuan really wants to play around with a lot of different mobs or a bunch of waves of enemies, so you don't really want to run Himiko's light cone. Another option is the Wake the World Claymore, which is going to be the wearer regenerates a certain amount of energy immediately upon entering battle and increases ultimate damage by 32%. Now this isn't honestly that bad because you are going to be getting that energy, you are going to be getting that ultimate damage up, which is going to be a big source of his DPS. The only problem is you're not going to be letting your follow-up attack damage get any buffs from it, so it is a little bit hard to use when it comes to using these light cones, because a lot of these light cones aren't going to help you a lot, because a lot of them are either going to do your ultimate, your skill, or your follow-up attack separately. So there's not a lot of really good options for light cones when it comes to using them. So like the things of the Birth of the Self is going to be increasing damage dealt by the wearer's follow-up attacks, which is really good. And if the current HP of the target enemy is below 50%, then the follow-up attack is going to do even more damage, like I said before. Another thing that's very specific, another thing that's going to be alienating a lot of the other things in his kit, like his ult, his skill, all those other things that you could be using. Now, one thing that is going to be helping regardless in terms of having a lot more buffs to your whole kit is the Seriousness of Breakfast, and also the Today is Another Peaceful Day. Now the Seriousness of Breakfast is going to be increase the wearer's damage by 12%, and for every defeated enemy, the wearer's attack is going to be increased by 4%, stacking up to 3 times. So this is going to be honestly really good for Jing Yuan if you don't have the other light cones, which are basically his signature, because this is going to be overall damage buffing him in every single portion of his kit. And then for the other one, Today is Another Peaceful Day, you are going to be getting a static buff based on your max energy. So you're going to be getting some damage buff for your whole kit based on the max amount of energy that Jing Yuan has. So this is a lot, these two are a lot better than the other options that you could possibly get. Now I do talk about 3-star options as well, because not a lot of people summon for the light cones, and when it comes to that, you kind of want to know what you can run if you're really struggling that bad. Now I guess you could say things like Sagacity, it helps a little bit because it does buff your whole kit if you use your ult for 2 turns. So this actually helps a little bit, but you know, as a 3-star you can't really expect much. And then Data Bank is also something that you could possibly use. It helps your ult damage, I guess. Like I said, 3-star options, not really a lot that you could work with right there. And then Passkey, you're going to be getting energy whenever you use your skill. This helps you use your ult. This helps you get your stacks up for your Lightning Lord. So like I said, not really a lot of things you can do with the 3-star options, but you can use mostly all of them in a certain way if you end up, you know, not having any 4-star options. So now let's go ahead and start talking about his relics. Now there's 2 pieces or 2 sets that are really good for him, because they do so much into his kit and they also help him a lot in a lot of stats. So of course the first one is going to be the lightning set, which is going to be helping you out with lightning damage. Of course, it's going to be his mainstay set, and it also is a pretty good in terms of energy efficient domain, because you are going to be grinding the defense set alongside with it. So you can't, you know, gear up your Japard, your Fire MC, your March 7th, who is also on the banner. So those are some really good things you can get from it. And then for the planar ornaments, you do want the Inert Salsodo, because it's going to be increasing your crit rate and also going to be giving you some more damage for your ult and your follow-up attack, which are his main sources of DPS. So the Inert Salsodo and the lightning set are going to by far be the best relics to run on him. You want to run the attack percent, the crit rate or crit damage, you know, based on your ratio depending on what you have. Now if you do have his light cone, you kind of want to run the crit rate chest piece, just because you're already going to have so much crit damage, and he does have crit rate and crit damage substats into his traces too. So there are a couple amount of things you do need to make note of if you're going to depend on what your chest piece is going to be in regards to it being crit damage or crit rate. Now for the planar ornament, of course you do want to rock lightning damage boost and then the attack rope. If you don't have the lightning damage boost orb, then you can run attack percent if you're struggling that bad. But the Inert Salsodo passive from having the 2-piece is going to be absolutely amazing no matter what. And now to talk about his team. So when it comes to his teams, you can run a bunch of different sorts of combinations, because he is the primary DPS. You're going to be mainly buffing him and keeping him alive. So you can run double buffer and then 1 healer or 1 shielder, or you can run 1 buffer and then a healer or shielder. So for example, you can run Jing Yuan, Ting Yun, Natasha, and Fire MC, which is a pretty good team in all honesty, because Ting Yun's on the banner and Fire MC and Natasha are free. So this is a really good setup. You also can run someone like Pella, who's able to defense shred instead of Ting Yun, or if you have have Bronya, you can run Bronya as well because she does give that crit damage boost, and she also helps you get your turns a lot faster, allowing you to outrun the Lightning Lord. So this could help a good amount when it comes to helping him get his stacks for his Lightning Lord. So there are a couple options that you can run for his teams. Pella, Tingyun, Bronya, Natasha, Bailu of course are going to be somewhere in there, Fire MC as well, or Japard, depending on what your team is looking at or what you have in your account. So there are a lot of good options, but those pool of characters are definitely going to be the ones that are going to be around Jing Yuan the most. But other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to Jing Yuan and his kit and his best stuff. So if this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, make sure to leave a like and a sub, and also you should probably check out my Twitch channel because I will be streaming on it a lot more when it comes to talking about these characters, doing a lot of the grinding that's on there, doing a bunch of Gamba when it comes to relics, and you know, it'd be nice to see y'all over there. So let me know if you came from this video or not. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.